All right, let's dive into one of the most disturbing and, frankly, perplexing stories of our time, the saga of Jeffrey Epstein. This is a story that goes right to the highest levels of power, and believe me, it is far from over.
You can really boil this entire, messy, complicated story down to just 6 words: a tale of money, sex, and blackmail. That's the core of it. It all starts with unbelievable wealth and just spirals into the darkest corners of influence and abuse you can imagine.
So, to really get a handle on this guy, you've got to go back to the very beginning. And our story doesn't start in some Manhattan penthouse. Nope, it starts in 1950s Brooklyn, New York.
Now, what's so fascinating is the foundation of who he was. He was born with this obvious, clear talent for math. Some people said he had a genius-level intellect. And yet, get this, he never actually finished college. That missing degree, it's a really key piece of the puzzle, and it makes his later success all the more mysterious.
Okay, so this is where the story just takes off like a rocket. A college dropout becoming a math teacher? That's one thing. But Epstein's lack of a degree didn't stop him from making this almost unbelievable jump into the absolutely cutthroat world of high finance.
I mean, just look at this timeline. His rise was absolutely meteoric. He goes from teaching math at the super elite Dalton School to trading at Bear Stearns, all because he impressed a top executive. And then, in less than 5 years, he's a partner. That kind of climb is almost unheard of, and it was really just the beginning of his own very secretive operation.
And this firm he started, J. Epstein & Co., it was basically a black box. The whole thing was built on this air of mystery. And the crucial point here is how exclusive it was. The firm would only manage money for clients who had at least $1 billion. His only publicly known client was Leslie Wexner, the founder of L Brands, Victoria's Secret. It just begs the question, right? Why would billionaires trust their money with a guy that almost nobody had ever heard of? So once he had that immense wealth, Epstein began to build something even more valuable, a powerful network. He wove this incredible web of connections that reached into the highest echelons of global society. And when you see the list of people in his circle, it is absolutely staggering. At the center of it all was Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of a disgraced media mogul. But from there, his circle just expanded to a who's who of the global elite. Former presidents like Bill Clinton, British royalty like Prince Andrew, and even world-renowned scientists like Stephen Hawking. Many of them were guests at his private island, a place that would later become truly infamous. So, how did he connect with all these powerful people? Well, a key piece of the puzzle was his private Boeing 727. It became so infamous that it earned a nickname, the Lolita Express, a symbol of the incredible access and luxury he provided to his powerful friends.
And this brings us to a central mystery, something that's raised again and again in the source material. He seemed to have these limitless funds for everything: charities, parties, flying the world's most powerful people around. But was it really his money? Or was someone else bankrolling the entire operation for their own reasons?
Epstein's carefully constructed world, built on secrets and power, finally started to crack in the mid-2000s, and the accusations that surfaced would lead to one of the most controversial and frankly shocking plea deals in modern American history. It all started with this one report in 2005. A woman went to the police and said her 14-year-old stepdaughter was paid $300 to undress and massage Epstein. This single claim was like the first crack in the dam. It opened up a floodgate and led to a full-on federal investigation. Now, just look at the disconnect on this slide. It's wild. The FBI was investigating a massive potential blackmail operation involving huge, prominent figures and underage victims. But the deal that was brokered by the U.S. attorney at the time, Alexander Acosta, it resulted in him pleading guilty to just 2 state charges. And the sentence? He served only 13 months in a private wing of a jail, and he got to leave for work release every single day. It's just unbelievable. So why on earth did he get such a lenient deal? Years later, when he was pressed on it, Acosta reportedly gave this absolutely bone-chilling explanation. He said that Epstein belonged to intelligence. The implication was that he was working with some government agency and was basically untouchable. That one statement has fueled countless conspiracy theories ever since. But that sweetheart plea deal wasn't the end of the story, not by a long shot. Years of relentless reporting and the incredible bravery of his victims kept the pressure on, and it all led to his final, dramatic arrest. On July 6, 2019, it happened. Epstein was arrested again, but this time the charges were federal, sex trafficking of minors. It really seemed like his perceived immunity, his get-out-of-jail-free card, had finally run out. And a raid on his Manhattan townhouse uncovered some really damning evidence. We're talking thousands of nude photos, stacks and stacks of cash, and even a fake passport from the 80s with a different name on it. This wasn't just a series of isolated crimes. This was a long-running, extensive operation. But here's the thing. Epstein's death in his jail cell meant he would never stand trial, and it left the biggest, most critical questions completely unanswered. And those are the questions we're all still left with today. First and foremost, if this was a blackmail operation, who was it for? Who was the real beneficiary of having this kind of leverage over some of the most powerful people on the entire planet? And what was Epstein's true motivation? Was it just about the horrific abuse, or was that simply a tool for some deeper, more strategic purpose that we still don't fully understand? We also have to think about the media's role in all of this. After years of constant coverage but very little real justice, you have to ask, does the story inadvertently start to normalize this kind of behavior among the elites? And finally, maybe the most unsettling question of all, is the ultimate outcome of this whole story for the public, for us, to simply give up? To have no expectation of morality or accountability from our global leaders? It's a really dark thought to end on, and it's one that ensures the Epstein saga is going to continue to haunt us for years to come.